He said he missed me, still kissed me, still touched me, all while planning a wedding with someone else. It had been exactly a year since they ended things. There was no shouting, no betrayal, no explosive fight that burned everything down. Just a quiet goodbye. They said it was about timing and different life goals. He had been offered a job in another city, a great opportunity. She had just started grad school, building her career locally. Long distance didn't feel doable to either of them, not at that stage of their lives. So they ended it. She cried for weeks afterward, not because he had hurt her, but because it had all felt unfinished. Like closing a book halfway through, just when the story was getting good. For months, she waited for a text, a call, a sign, but nothing came. She blocked his socials to stop herself from checking, tried dating again, tried healing. He, meanwhile, had moved cities, started over, disappeared into a new chapter of his life. At least, that's what she thought. Then, out of nowhere, a full year later, her phone buzzed. Thinking of you, are you doing okay? Just like that, no context, no warning. Her hands shook as she stared at the screen. 1,000 thoughts rushed through her mind. Why now? What did he want? Should she even reply? But curiosity, or maybe old wounds, got the better of her. She texted back. The conversation started light, small talk, catching up. How's your job? How's your family? Do you still drink that awful gas station coffee? It felt weird, but familiar, like slipping into an old hoodie, worn out, but comfortable. She found herself smiling at his texts, laughing again. Then came the big question. She asked if he was seeing anyone. Not really, he replied. Went on a few dates, but nothing serious. No one's felt like you. One night, she couldn't sleep. Her mind was buzzing with thoughts of him. She texted, and to her surprise, he replied instantly. Can't sleep either. That night, they talked for hours, just like old times, about everything and nothing. The late night chats became frequent. Slowly, they started calling instead of texting. His voice was like a memory, warm, familiar, full of ghosts. Then came the flirting. Subtle at first, a comment about how she still looked beautiful in her new profile picture, a teasing joke about their inside references. Then bolder. I still remember how you used to trace circles on my chest when you couldn't fall asleep. Sometimes I dream about you, about us. Before long, the emotional intimacy was back, but so was something else. Physical desire. He came to town for a weekend. They met for coffee, which turned into a walk, which turned into dinner, which turned into her apartment. That night, they slept together, slowly, carefully, almost reverently, as if touching each other too fast might shatter the moment. It wasn't just sex, it was longing, memory, muscle memory. They knew each other's rhythms, the way their hands fit, the pauses between kisses. It felt like home. It didn't stop there. Over the next few weeks, they saw each other again. A second meetup, then a third. More texts, more late night calls. They didn't label anything, they didn't dare. But something was happening. After one night together, as they lay tangled in sheets, he whispered, I miss what we had. She looked at him, heart pounding. She wanted to believe it. Maybe we just needed time apart, he added. Maybe this is our second chance. She didn't respond immediately. Her mind was spinning. Hope started to stir in her chest again, small, timid, but undeniably there. Was he serious? Was this really happening? She didn't know where it was going, but she knew one thing. She wasn't ready to walk away again. Not yet. At first, she tried not to overthink it, but something started to feel off. Every time they were physically intimate, those tender, nostalgic nights that felt like a rekindling, he would pull away the next day. Emotionally, he became distant, cold, even. The warm, Flirty texts would vanish for days. He'd respond with dry one-liners. Conversations that once flowed like a stream now hit invisible walls. And he never stayed the night. No matter how late it got, no matter how comfortable they were, he'd always get dressed, kiss her forehead, and mumble something like, "I've got an early morning," or "I'll call you tomorrow." Then he'd leave, sometimes without looking back. It began to gnaw at her. The intimacy felt real in the moment, but the aftertaste was hollow. She also noticed something strange. He was suddenly quiet on social media. Before, he used to post funny memes, gym selfies, snaps from work, even photos of his dog. But now, weeks would go by with nothing. He didn't even post stories. When she asked, he said he was just over social media. Too busy, too drained. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe that this weird energy was just stress or fear or maybe unresolved feelings between them. But then came the clue. One night, while scrolling through his old posts, a guilty habit she couldn't quit, she saw a comment on a photo from a few months ago. A woman had written, "Can't wait to call you my husband." Her heart dropped. She clicked the woman's profile. It was private. The name wasn't familiar. No tagged photos of him, nothing obvious. She told herself it was probably nothing. Maybe an ex still hung up on him. Maybe a joke. Maybe even a cousin. Some families were weird like that, right? She didn't confront him. Not yet. She didn't want to seem insecure or paranoid. And deep down, she didn't want to face the possibility that her gut might be right. But once you notice one red flag, more start to appear. A few days later, she saw it. It was a tagged photo on someone else's profile, not his. A mutual friend from the city he had moved to. The photo was beautiful, professionally shot, with soft lighting and greenery in the background. He was standing next to a woman, their hands intertwined, her head resting lightly on his shoulder. She wore a light-colored dress. He was in a white shirt and beige trousers. It looked exactly like an engagement shoot. Her stomach turned. She clicked through the post, but there was no caption indicating a wedding. Just vague, artsy hashtags. Augur love in the air. Your new beginnings. He said yes. When she finally gathered the courage to ask him, her voice trembling, he dismissed it with a chuckle. "That?" he said. "Oh, come on. It was just a prank. A friend's photography project. We were helping out." Another time, when she asked again, this time more directly, he waved it off with a shrug. "It's old. Don't read into stuff online. You know how people love drama." She wanted to believe him. She really wanted to believe that he was telling the truth, that the intimacy they shared, the late-night talks, the whispered confessions weren't built on a lie. But the unease didn't go away, and for the first time, she started wondering if she had walked right back into something she had already escaped once. It was an ordinary afternoon when the truth finally exploded in her hands. A mutual friend from college messaged her, casually, innocently, with a photo of a fancy envelope and a message. "Look who's getting married. Did you get the invite too?" Curious, she zoomed in. It took her a second to register what she was looking at. White calligraphy on ivory paper, a gold monogram. Then her eyes landed on the names. The groom's name, him. The man she'd been seeing, sleeping with, reconnecting with, pouring her heart into again. Her chest tightened. Her breath caught. The room around her seemed to still. The silence roaring in her ears. She read the date. The wedding was just a few weeks away. Which meant all this time, all those late-night calls, all those whispered confessions, the quiet intimacy they had rebuilt. He had been engaged, planning a wedding, promising a future to someone else, while holding her in his arms like a secret. She didn't wait. Hands trembling, heart racing, she called him. No hello, no preamble, just, "You're getting married?" There was silence on the other end, then a soft, guilty sigh. Yeah, he said quietly. She exploded. All the pain, confusion, betrayal that had been simmering under the surface came boiling out. How could you do this to me? Why would you come back into my life? Why lie? He didn't even try to deny it. Instead, his voice turned pleading, sad, almost ashamed. I didn't know how to let you go. You were always the hardest part. I missed you so much, but I love her now. That sentence broke her more than any insult could have. But I love her now. So what was she? A goodbye gift? A relapse? A comfort blanket while he walked down the aisle with someone else? And then, as if twisting the knife deeper, he said, "Please, don't say anything. If she finds out, it'll destroy everything. It would ruin her life. It was a mistake. I never meant to hurt anyone." Her voice cracked. "A mistake? You didn't mean to hurt me?" She laughed, bitter, hollow. "You didn't mean to, but you did it anyway, every single time." When the call ended, she just sat there, frozen. The silence was deafening. Her mind spiraled, not just from the betrayal, but from the intention behind it. She hadn't just been a casual rebound or a one-time slip. She had been a choice. A secret kept in the shadows while he played the role of loving fiancé in the light. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't confusion. It was deliberate. She thought back to every smile, every kiss, every night they spent together. And now it all felt dirty, tainted, performed. She felt used, stupid, hollowed out. Worst of all, she started questioning herself. Was she not enough? Was she that easy to forget? How could she not have seen it? Her memories warped in front of her. Once warm and glowing, now sharp and cruel. He had shattered her. Not just once, but twice. And this time, he hadn't even left her with closure, just wreckage. She curled up in bed that night, silent tears soaking her pillow, asking the question that would haunt her for weeks. Was I ever real to him? For days, she couldn't sleep. She kept staring at her phone, scrolling through their messages, reading and rereading the words that once made her feel loved, now venomous in hindsight. The "I miss you." The "what we had was real." The "maybe we just needed time apart." She had screenshots, receipts, voice notes, even photos, proof that could shatter his perfect wedding day in seconds. And God, was she tempted? She imagined it, sending it all to the bride, watching the chaos unfold, stopping a woman, a stranger, from making the same mistake she did. She didn't owe him anything. He had lied, used her, manipulated her. Why protect him now? But every time she hovered over the send button, something inside her hesitated. She talked to mutual friends, seeking clarity. Some told her to walk away, to not get involved in their drama. He's trash, but don't drag yourself down, too. Others insisted the bride deserved the truth. If it were you, wouldn't you want to know? She didn't know what was right anymore. Anger burned in her chest, but beneath it was exhaustion. Deep, soul-level exhaustion. Why was she the one carrying this weight? On the morning of the wedding, she woke up early. Her hands shook as she drafted a message to the bride. It was long, honest, vulnerable. Not to hurt, but to warn, to explain. It ended with, "I'm not doing this out of jealousy. I'm doing this because no one deserves to start forever with a lie." She stared at it for a long time. Then she deleted it. She didn't send it. Not because she forgave him, not because she doubted the truth, but because in that moment she realized she was done letting him steal any more of her power, any more of her energy. He didn't get to live rent-free in her heart another day. She chose peace, not silence, but peace. Instead, she posted a single message on her Instagram story, a black screen with white text. Sometimes the truth doesn't ruin your life, it just sets you free. No names, no drama. But she knew, and anyone who needed to know would feel it. A year passed. She moved cities. A fresh start in a place where nothing reminded her of him. She started therapy, real therapy, the kind that forced her to confront the wounds she'd kept bandaged for too long. Not just what he did, but what she believed about herself because of it. She cried, she healed, she bloomed, she made new friends, reclaimed her weekends, took herself out to dinner, learned how to sit with silence and not feel lonely, learned how to smile without needing someone else to cause it. She stopped stalking his profile, stopped wondering what if. He had been her undoing, but he didn't get to be her ending. Then one day, a mutual friend messaged her again. Did you hear? He's divorced. Barely lasted 6 months. Apparently, she found out about everything, but not from you. Crazy, right? She didn't reply right away. She just stared at the message and felt nothing. No joy, no revenge, no vindication, just quiet. Because by then, she had already won. She had chosen not to become like him, someone who lives through lies and secrets. She had chosen herself, chosen peace. As she stood by her window that evening, looking out at a city that didn't know her history, she finally exhaled all the weight she'd been carrying, and with a soft, bittersweet smile, she whispered, "He chose the lie. I chose peace, and I'm finally free."